Hi, I'm Jessica Marshall from Anderson and Boback, and I'm here to talk to you today about what to expect when you file for divorce. There's often a lot of things that surprise some of the potential clients and clients that retain my services, and so I thought I would go through some of those points today. One of the biggest things that I hear from clients who have children is how difficult it can be not to see their kids all of the time. And it's really going to be a big adjustment and a big change, especially during the holidays. Having to alternate holidays can be really tough on people. Some people would celebrate, to have a break, especially during times like shelter in place. But for the most part, it's a huge adjustment. It's one of the things that when people file for divorce, they should be considering. There are some people that don't get divorced until their kids are much older because they know that the schedule is going to be a concern. Another thing to consider is that you're now going to have two households and you're going to have more bills. And because of that, you're going to have less money to pay your bills with. Whether you were the breadwinner or employed, you now have two households with the same amount of money. So no matter if you get support, if you get alimony or maintenance or child support, you're still going to have less money available to you than you did prior when you were married. Another thing to consider is service. Are you going to serve your spouse or are you going to go about it a different way? And you have options. Some people think that service is the only way to start a case. I'm here to tell you that it's not. You don't always have to have someone served if they're in agreement to the divorce. So that is an important strategic conversation to have with your attorney. Another thing that people are surprised by is that after they file, they might second guess their decision, especially if they haven't had any insight into what the financial consequences would look like. And that sounds pretty terrible to think that money would be the only motivation someone would have for second guessing a situation. And it's not. Sometimes people get involved in subsequent relationships and they realize how good they had it when they were with their spouse. And sometimes, it goes the opposite way. So that's a normal thing too to go through, is that you may second guess your decision. Another thing to consider is that you will have to have money to pay an attorney or retainer, except for in limited circumstances, even if you weren't the primary earner. So setting aside money for that, as well as for any temporary financial needs while you're separated. It can sometimes take a while to get a court order giving you access to money from the marital estate or support. Although you can receive money during the pendency of a case and you don't have to wait until the end, it takes time, especially if you're going to serve someone, if you file a petition, if you have to go to court. So planning for a retainer for an attorney, as well as for your expenses during the beginning of the separation, those are definitely considerations that you have to consider. Another thing that surprises people is that Illinois is a no-fault state. So you could be married to the worst wife or the worst husband in the entire world. And since we're a no-fault state, that means that the court cannot consider people's actions when they are dividing property. So a spouse wouldn't get less money because they cheated or because they were abusive. There's only certain factors a court can consider when dividing up marital property, and fault is not one of them in Illinois. The last and probably one of the most important things to consider is whether or not you would need an order of protection. Are you in a situation with domestic violence? A lot of times, if you are in an abusive situation, you may want to file for an order of protection before you even file for divorce. It shields you. There's a chance that if you were able to get an emergency order of protection entered by a judge, then during the time when you have your spouse served, you're protected. If there's any fear about what they would do to retaliate if you were to file for divorce. So those are some considerations that a lot of people may not think about when they're thinking about filing for divorce. I hope that they were helpful to you. If you liked this video, give it a like, leave a comment, and let us know that you are here. And have a great rest of your day.